Well, guys, that absolutely sucked. I don't even know what to make of this. What a disgusting performance by the team. Markey didn't look good, obviously. Then they yanked him late. Wow. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your super pissed off host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And one of the worst losses of the year, I would say. It's hard to really put it into context and true suctitude because, they were so overwhelmingly favored to make the playoffs regardless. But the fashion in which the game played out, completely terrible. Wow. Steve the Maniac said that he texted earlier and thought Markey should have got pulled. But I think the reality is, I think there's kind of more at stake in a game like this. Pulling Markey earlier, I think there's more, beyond just trying to win the game. And the Devils didn't play great for most of the game. And so, we had that surge in the second where we scored the 2 goals quick and then they were back on their heels. But I do think, Keefe probably in his head was like, pulling Markey in a game like this might do more damage overall than good. Like, what's that going to do to Markey's kind of, mind state or whatever. But wow, man, that one really sucked in a game that meant so. I mean, it did mean a lot, regardless that, they're going to get in the playoffs. It was a huge game with a chance to clinch, a chance to finally get 4 in a row. We are now 0-13 in the past 24 months. 0-13. This is mind-boggling. 0-13 in the 4th game after 3-game winning streaks. So now 13 times since January of 23. 13 times the Devils had put together a 3-game winning streak and then lost the 4th game. 13 times in a row. I don't even know, even if you called each game a coin flip, like, how can you flip a coin 13 times and come up heads or tails 13 times in a row the same? It's like a statistic improbability. I need to find like a real math nerd. I need a real math nerd. Win or lose, we booze. I'm going back to the Dirty Devil for tonight and just a couple bottle shots and get this over with. This game was one of the most disappointing of the year. I don't know, again, because we're pretty much a lock for the playoffs. It's hard to put into context into terms of, how bad of a loss it really was. But knowing what was on the line and to just get steamrolled like that by a shit team. It's not even like we lost a heartbreaker. We got steamrolled by a shit team. The Bruins suck. The Bruins absolutely suck. Devastating. Yeah. They're up 2-0 after 1. We had a horrible first period. They get the first one a few minutes into the second. They're up 3-0. And then a late surge by the Devils, 19 seconds apart. Nason and Timo go back-to-back real quick, and all of a sudden now it's a 3-2 game, and we're dominating play. Horrible late goal against. Bruins get another one late with 53 seconds left. 4-2. We go to the third, and they get one within the first 5 minutes, and that's a wrap. 5-2, then 6-2. They added another one on for style points to make it 7-2. Eventually, Markey got the hook. It was a terrible night. I don't even know what to make of this. And now they're showing clinching scenarios. What a horrible way to clinch if possible, right? So now the clinching scenarios are Rangers and Islanders each lose a game. And the Islanders are tied up in the second. Maybe I'll put that on. I don't know how long I could stay on here for. The dooming is going to be awful. But yeah, Rangers and Islanders each need to lose. Islanders are in action right now, tied, and the Rangers play tomorrow, and then Rangers and the Islanders play each other, I think I said on Thursday. And so there's a chance we clinch before being able to punch our own ticket, which would be on Friday. But wow, I mean, what a shit game. It was terrible. Yeah, I started early because I just want to get it over with. These things go late into the night, and I'm probably not going to be on here nearly as long as I normally am. I'm just completely distraught over this, and I normally wait. But, I mean, I'm so curious to see what Keefe says about this. But, wow, James says Montreal and Senators are going out first round. Who cares? You're mistaken, James. I don't know about Montreal. I think they have a chance. I think Montreal has a chance against the Caps. But I am very confident in the Senators taking out the Leafs in round one. Alex says, why is it always the bad teams? Maybe this means we will win every single postseason game. Man, I don't know. The brown bag's not coming out for a while. Dire Straits, Montreal upset Washington if they play them. I wouldn't be surprised by that whatsoever. I think the Caps could potentially be primed for a upset in the first round. But I definitely think Senators, Leafs, that's easily the most anticipated series for me outside of the Devils, obviously. In terms of the series I'm looking most forward to watching is easily the Leafs Senators. Brady Tkachuk making his playoff debut. I think he's going to be a complete menace. I think he's going to be crushing people, and I think that Toronto is going to wilt under the pressure. Man, Sal, just say they suck, Sal. Husky, he wants to get. I do. I just want to get it over with. What's a toy, Ace? Do you have a smash room where you break a ton of old TVs and shit after watching a game like that? I should probably make one, or get a punching bag. I would like a smash room to just smash stuff with a mallet, like Gallagher, the old comedian. For you old heads that know who Gallagher is, with the watermelon with the mallet. Man, yeah, Marky. I hope he recovers from this. This was bad. Brendan plays. We were missing the playoffs. Embarrassing. Come on, Brendan. David Chimes, garbage effort in unimportant game. No need to overanalyze. Yeah, I mean, but in the grand scheme of things, it is because of the fact that it would be like winning the lottery in reverse if we didn't get in the playoffs. You just don't want to see the team look lifeless and get steamrolled in a game where you can get in the playoffs. Like, you should want to seize that moment, and especially the 4 in a row as well. But the playoffs, more importantly, you could punch your ticket to the playoffs and not have to, look for out of town scores to go your way. And the 4 in a row thing is just annoying. How do you lose 13 games in a row over a span of 26 months where you could get a 4-game winning streak? It's just, I don't even understand how it's just crazy to me. Random Man says, it's fine, Ace. This was a planned loss. It's illegal to win 4 in a row. We'll get them next game. I mean, at this point, you really start to wonder. Vic says, yeah, here come the Doomers. James, too much spaghetti, carb overload, pathetic. I don't even know what to make of this. I'm curious to see what Keefe has to say. Go Boro. We can't get overtaken by Montreal because they're in the Atlantic Division. So we're pretty much locked in that third spot. The four in a row curse is real. It's so real. It is so real. Jerry says, remind me again why we didn't stick with Allen 2 weeks ago. I think because it is Marky's team. I do think Marky, when he's at his best, is the better of the two goalies, despite what the stats may say. I do think Marky is the X factor when he's on. And Keefe was trying to get him back in the groove. I mean, he had 3 good games in a row, 3 really good games. The 2 Wild games and the Ranger game, he was great. Tonight, he looked terrible. And now, I'm starting to wonder if this becomes like a thing again. I thought we were past it. I still think, if it came down to it, if I had to say right now, I still think that Sheldon Keefe plans on starting Markstrom in the playoffs. But there's still some games to be played. And depending on what happens in those games, it could, potentially make Sheldon Keefe decide to maybe go with Allen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. Traveling Devil game was definitely done after the 5th goal. He didn't need to be in for the next 2. I agree. Steve the Maniac wanted to pull him earlier, I think. I'm actually proud of this team. Overall, I am, but a night like tonight is really sad. Dire Straits, the paper bag should have appeared. There's no excuse for a loss. Is it over here? It's not in grabbing distance. Trubka says, lost my sleep for nothing, and I don't even have any good class where I could sleep. Yeah, sleeping in college classes is like a pastime. Nicole, Markey was off, but so was the rest of the team. None of them played to their potential. Can't even blame Rooney for this. Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Nicole. Oh, yeah, the whole team looked bad, but the only positive from this game is that Chris Rooney took a puck up high. It's a complete piece of garbage. Maybe that's what the curse is. You had 13 games, 13-game heater, and then you fail to secure a 4-game winning streak 13 times in a row. I hope not. Reb says, I don't think Markey's 100%. Man, I was starting to believe he was close to back. 3 good games in a row and a shutout over the Rangers. Eddie, SST, stop. You're really negative. Nobody likes you. James, losing Jack, losing Dougie. We have a GM who's trying to tank. I did think it was a tank attempt at the deadline, but credit to Sheldon Keefe. I mean, we've been in a lot of competitive games. These are just, I'm not even going to call these highlights. They're showing right now what I'll call the lowlights. Ritter engine, you wine guys name with Keefe let Boston light up Markey 7 times. Yeah, I mean, he probably should have been pulled earlier. Fitz is trying to sabotage us, and the player said no way. Traveling Devil was a good loss to get out of the way. Hopefully this is the last totally shit game we see. I mean, this was bad. This was real bad. Lou Blair says he's Team Allen. Okay. Ritter engine, his confidence is going to be shit with only 4 games before the playoffs. Well, this is what I'm worried about. Like, what is the lasting? Is there like a lasting kind of cloud? Markey looks pissed after the game. Damn. Wow, puck and ozone time, almost identical. Devils 23:51, Bruins 23:27. Ozone possession time. Bruins had a minute more, 6:41 to 5:46 to the Devils. Bruins 12 slot shots, Devils 8 slot shots. Bruins 8 high danger chances, Devils 5 high danger chances, and then scoring chances off the rush. Bruins with 5 and the Devils with 1. Brutal. Those are Sal's stats of the game. And then the final game stats here. 5 off the rush to 1 is overall shots on goal. Bruins 25, Devils 21. Bruins 55.3% of the faceoffs. Devils 44.7%. Bruins 0 for 2 on the power play. Devils 0 for 1. Bruins 15 hits. Devils 24 hits. Bruins 14 block shots. Devils 12 block shots. Bruins 16 giveaways. Devils 16 giveaways. Bruins 2 takeaways, Devils 5 takeaways. But in the end, this was just an ugly one. I don't think. David Chime says the odds of losing 13 coin flips in a row, that's it? 8,192 to 1? I would have thought more. But that's still insane. I mean, we just essentially did that tonight. Canes just got shut out by the Sabres. I mean, yeah. Win or lose, we booze. Lose or tie, I wanted to. Nicole, maybe the Devils were partying with Ovi. I don't know. I mean, we don't have any. If we had a Russian tie of some kind, like a Russian connection, I would say it's more likely. You know, if Kovalchuk was still here. Still waiting for the wrath of Keefe. Well, we're going to see the post-game, his press conference, I'd imagine, pretty soon. Eddie said, I turned it off after the 5th goal, watching Montreal Reds better again. I don't know what that means. 7-2. How do you lose 7-2 in a clinching game and then want to act like you're a serious team? Yeah, it is painful. James says Rangers are going to win one more game probably at most. Cosmo Ace, game 1, who's your starter? I'm you know, it's a tough spot. I'm going to still say Markey. I'm still going to say Markey. I mean, you know, it's a tough situation we're in right now. I still believe in Markey, but man, that was brutal. But he had 3 great games in a row. I can't just discredit it. But for people saying Allen, I could understand it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's crazy, but I think you just, you gotta sink or swim with Markey. I do think his upside is much higher, or the ceiling, if you will, like of stealing games, and I guess Allen can too. But it's just a tough spot. I'm still going Markey, but I'm not. If people are saying they want Allen, I could fully understand why. I totally do get it, but I'm still going Markstrom. But wow, what a shit game for the whole team, honestly. A terrible game for the whole team. James says, Mark, I turned the game off after the first period. I'm sure a lot of people did. I still had faith, and we made it interesting for a couple minutes. New York, nobody said I think the Sens will be a tough out for sure. They definitely will be. Lobs, is it too late to give Markey the steroids that Schmid took in the 2023 playoffs against the Rangers? Yeah, whatever Akira Schmid was on, that was some good stuff. Vic Ace, during the emergency red light, I said, hustle, hit, never quit. I've got a new one. Hustle, hit, just quit. Man. It's terrible. I do think the Sens are a dark horse for sure. Yeah, a lot of you think that's going to be a good series. I do too. Sherry, game was a nightmare. Absolutely. I was spared. If I was at this one, I would have been very upset. Pro Bowl forever, I think the Sens will beat the Leafs in 7 games. Oh, man, a 7-game series? That'd be crazy. Crazy. Red Devil, that was an absolutely pathetic performance against a toilet bowl team. Swayman is a human Swiss cheese goalie, and he's something else. Yeah, I mean, we've struggled with bad teams for a couple seasons now. The fourth consecutive, the 4-game winning streak is a serious curse. 0-13 now in the last 13 attempts. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. Dire Straits, I think the Leafs will win, and Leafs fans will claim it was Keefe all along. That's obviously going to happen if they win. Luke says, hoped Winnipeg game would be the last low point, but this team loves to keep moving the goalposts in the wrong direction. Yeah, there's a lot of low points. This one shouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it is disheartening. Chief Keefe, what a disaster. Nobody showed up. Lucas says Brady Tkachuk versus Matthew Tkachuk in round 2 of the playoffs. I think that would be possible, right? With these stupid new format. So it'd be, so for that to happen, what? Panthers would have to beat Lightning. Is that the way the bracket thing messes me up with the new format? I can't picture the second round in my head right now. World's worst gamer. The only thing we need to know from this game is why Markstrom was kept in net. Yeah, I think he was just hoping he was going to bounce back. And then it just fell apart. No, it was a playoff clinching game, but unimportant in the grand scheme of things that we're still going to be in the playoffs. So it's like, but I see both sides of it. But overall, to me, it's just gutting. Yeah, when you have a chance to clinch the playoffs, you must do it. But again, in the grand scheme of things, you could say that it is unimportant just because they're still going to get in the playoffs and their seeding's not going to change. So it's just like, what really was the importance? It's more psychologically damaging, I think, to some of the team, maybe definitely Markey and the fan base having to watch that. Terrible. Brian said, I'm not even mad. That was just ugly. I don't know why Keefe kept Markey in that long. Bad coaching, very annoying. Yeah, I don't think we would have won the game regardless. But yeah, I think that's a lose-lose because I think pulling Markey, he gets furious as well. There's no winning, but overall, he probably should have pulled him. Here he is. We got Keefe. We got Keefe out here. What can you take out of tonight into the next practice and hope that can't take anything from tonight. We don't lead with our competitiveness and our pace of play, our structure. He's not going to watch it or talk about it after he leaves the room.
It's disappointing, but it's obviously I shared it too, so I think they've been doing the job to get the group ready today. It was very evident from the first shift that we were just not ready today.
Not ready today.
No, we're competing. We've played well. We've practiced hard. We practiced well.
Yeah, I don't.
We got 2 days here.
How do you get crushed like this?
Scheduled day off for us, given it's a very busy. It's been a very light schedule. Probably a little bit too late. That was evident here today. Just our second game. I don't know how many days it's been right now, but it's going to get busy on us. So reluctantly, we're going to take the day off tomorrow, but we'll respond accordingly in our next practice. Not a punishment or anything like that. It's just evident that we have to be at a very high level. Give ourselves a chance to win against anybody.
We got to be at a high level, he said. This today was not a high level.
What's your overall takeaway on Luke Hughes' increased role against maybe some of the toughest matchups he's had? Nobody was any good today.
Nobody was any good today, he said.
Do you think there's a mental factor to trying to push a win streak to 4? Is it just execution based coincident?
Well, obviously, we've been down there and do it all season, so there's something there.
Daniel Amoya asked about the 4-game winning streak.
To me, this is, listen, Ranger game's easy to get up for lots of reasons. Right?
Ranger game's easy to get up for.
This one's harder.
This one's harder. The playoffs are on the line. And a 4-game winning streak. It's a little bit discouraging to hear this kind of stuff, but
All that, we got to find a way, to Tuesday night against a team that's out of the playoffs and that we haven't seen for quite a while. And we didn't bring it. So that's, to me, there's 4 games, all that stuff, but it's just, to me, it's more about just
he wants to get out of there. He's like,
ability to just string it together, for a long period of time. That's been an issue for us all season. And we talked about it this morning. It was a really good opportunity for us to push through a couple of thresholds here.
push through some thresholds. Yeah. Yeah, playoffs and the 4-game win streak. How do you come out flat like that? 13 straight games, 13 times. 3-game win streak. That can never be 4. And he's out. And Keefe is off the podium. Man. Terrible. Sherry said, I thought Markey was back too. I certainly did. And this was his worst game of the season. It's hard to really, I hope it's not a lingering thing. A lot of people are still saying they think he's still hurt. I mean, I just can't discredit the last 3 games we saw before tonight. Back-to-back wins over the Wild and the obvious Rangers shutout. I mean, how can you just, discredit that? Like he had 3 very good games in a row. And here we are. With a performance like tonight, I hope he should play the next game and hopefully he just dominates. Rocky, when an elusive 4-game winning streak and clinching was on the line, this is their statement. Yeah, it's disappointing. Completely disappointing. People fighting in the comments as usual. Collect records. Feel bad for the people at the game tonight who paid money thinking they'd see them clinch. Yeah, I mean it is disappointing. I'm happy that I wasn't there. I would have been furious. I've been at a couple. stinker of games, but this one I think was really stinky. And you got a second period tease, right? We always say they tease us late. This one was teased in the second period. We're down 3-0. They get 2 quick goals. It's 3-2. And then they give one back in the second, and they just get destroyed in the third. So it wasn't without the usual tease, but this one came sooner than it usually does. Shit. It just really sucks. World's Worst Gamer says, I would say no matter what, we should be happy that our coach is trying to send some sort of message keeping Markey in there for the whole game. Islanders are going to the third period with Nashville. I don't think he was trying to send a message. I think he was really trying to, let Markey fight through it. Because I'm pretty sure if you had asked Markey, and again, obviously it's not up to a goalie whether to get pulled out or not. But if you went up to him and was like, you feeling it? Do you want to come out? He'd probably say F you. So I think that's more of what went into the decision versus sending a message to the rest of the team. I think he was trying to give Markey the benefit and let him fight through it, but it just got away from him and the rest of the team. Vic said this game was the worst of the year potential. It could be, but just because they're probably in the playoffs regardless, it's hard to put it in there with like the Stars loss when we were fighting for points and it was tighter. Richard said, I wasn't able to watch the game. Seems that was an okay thing. Yeah, you didn't miss anything encouraging.
Coach said that as well, and he said, it was a wake-up call. So, in my opinion, he's handled it perfectly.
Right, and respect. Thank you for the super, sir. The consistency, not just tonight, but all year, makes me uneasy about how they're faring round one. They're going to need to be at their best 100% of the time in the upcoming series, and that worries me. Thank you for the super, Riot, and respect. Very fair points. Obviously, we've been consistently inconsistent all year. That's been the theme of the year. I call them, the roller coaster kids, the cardiac kids, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And tonight we were dealt another lowest of low. The only thing that keeps me from being throwing up about it is the fact that we are going to go in the playoffs, and it's just more of a troubling sign of the inconsistency. But it's not like a loss where you're like, oh shit, we might not make the playoffs. And there was a time during stretches of the season where I thought the playoffs really were in jeopardy. But yeah, obviously Carolina's not going to be an easy team to beat, and you can't play like we did tonight or anything like it. You're going to need to consistently bring your A game and play damn close to 60 minutes to beat them, because they're a very good team, well-coached team, and they got a lot of guys who've been there before. And so I completely agree with you. I'm hoping that somehow, some way, this shit kind of stops, but it's certainly troubling. It's certainly troubling, and it's not a good feeling to have, obviously. And now we're off for 2 days till Friday. Yeah, it sucks. Completely sucks. HD Neon. Oh, he's one of these people that were mentioned before. Wow. I can't believe I just paid to see that. Holy shit, I have no words. Absolute piss poor game from everyone but Luke and Markey mostly. I mean, it wasn't a good game for Markey, for sure. Oh, you're saying that okay, I misread that. Yeah, Luke had a rough night. Dire Straits, Ottawa officially in. Oh, man. I'm curious what Brady... I'll see it on NHL Network later. I'm sure Brady Tkachuk was thrilled. I'm sure he was completely thrilled with the clinching. Man. What a night, though, huh, guys? What a night. It doesn't show how much time's left. I'm trying to see how much time is left before the Islander third period. Mark, at least we'll be in the playoffs. That was the goal. Just make it once and anything could happen. I agree. It just sucks when you're on the playoff drive with a chance to clinch on your own with a win and not have to scoreboard watch and rely on, other teams losing. It just feels so much better to do it that way. And, obviously aside from that, just playing like absolute garbage doesn't make you feel great about the playoffs, obviously. People are still fighting. Val said Markey played as if you were blindfolded. Luke played as if you were 10 years old. Man. Everybody wants blood tonight. Frank, playoff spot within grasp versus team playing for nothing, and they come into our house and smack us around. Pathetic. Completely agree. They're just trying to pad their stats, and maybe guys are playing for contracts. But in the end, we had two pretty massive things on the line. A playoff clinch and a 4-game winning streak that we are now 0-13 in the last 13 tries after a 3-game winning streak to seal up a 4-game. We can't do it. It's crazy. It's completely crazy. David says Habs 6-game win streak after beating Detroit, Rags, Islanders, and Jackets almost officially eliminated. I'm happy with that. Wow. Charlie said it should have been Allen's game. I would have went back to Markey too. I mean, he's coming off of he's got a nice little string going. It would have been great for him to, play great and get a win tonight to, for the 4-game win streak for the playoffs. It would have been awesome. Yeah, because if Allen played, you're talking about Markey would almost be a week between starts. He played Saturday against the Rangers and he's not going to play till Friday. I hate inactivity for goalies. I think a lot of them hate it as well. Eddie, this is a sad and a bad loss. Putz Monkey 182, what a brutal game. Truly a toxic relationship. I see a stinker and pay to see another game just for it to be worse. Were you there tonight? At least I made an earlier train leaving early. Man. That one I would have left a little bit early, too. I would have probably left with a few minutes left. 7-2 is brutal. Completely brutal. Cape Dweller, win or lose, give the thumbs up. Use. Thanks. I like that. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I mean, don't take it out on me that the team sucked tonight. I'm out here trying to give some sort of performance. Yeah, James, that's another way of looking at it, getting out of our system now. But the reality is, have we been getting it out of our system all calendar year 2025? Obviously, most of them weren't as ugly as this one was tonight, but we've been struggling and stuff, all 2025. Putz Monkey, we're either getting swept against the Canes or squeezing out 1 win to lose in 5. No way we make it further. I have to disagree. Yeah, I'm hoping we win somehow from strong goaltending, which we did not see tonight. Collect records. I have no problem going Markey, but I can't process why Keefe won't pull him if it's going sideways. Pull him after the 3rd goal, and maybe we get the point tonight. I think I talked about it before. I think the main reason is he's trying to, no goalies like getting pulled, and especially, Markey, I'm sure, hates it. So I think it was mostly predicated on, Keefe trying to give Markey the chance to fight through it and come up with some saves in the win. It just wasn't his night. It just wasn't pretty much anyone's night. Akira is a net for the Golden Knights, eh? It's interesting. Traveling Devil, tonight's a game you forget about and move on. There's not much else you could do, I don't think. Right? Like, what are you gonna obsess over it and dwell on it? Like, it was one of the worst losses I've seen in quite some time, in a season that's seen plenty of them. But with the 4-game thing looming over our heads, with the potentially clinching the playoffs, you'd like to see a much better effort than that. That was just painful stuff. The only thing I could take from tonight is that I could sneak 3 shooters and a 24-ounce high noon into the rock. That is hilarious. The shooters are easy if they're plastic bottle. Or actually, yeah, the shooters should always be easy. The 24-ounce high noon, I'm curious about that one because that's metal. How the hell did you sneak that in? The shooters are no problem, though. Red Devil, that was absolutely embarrassing performance against a toilet bowl team with a human Swiss cheese. Yeah. Yeah. Steve Smith says, I'm so angry I'm crashing out hard. I'm just I kind of accepted it early on. When it was 2-0, I was like, this is probably not going to be our night. But then they pulled me back in the second period when they got to 2 goals. I was delusionally, optimistic. New York, nobody. You think the Caps come back to earth now that Ovi got the record? I think it's possible. I just don't think they were ever as good as their record. I mean, I think a lot of people are like writing them off entirely, which I would not do. But I do think, with the long season they had, with the emphasis on, the whole Ovechkin goal chase, which finally happened, which, by the way, your boy was there for. Your boy was in the building at UBS to see Alex Ovechkin's 895th. Shout out to my boy Pat for the hookup. Longtime Islander fan and season ticket holder, invited me to the game, and I was able to see Ovechkin get the record in person. If you haven't seen that, shameless plug. I just put the link for my vlog in the chat if you're interested in seeing some OV 895 game footage and different stuff and the sights and sounds of the day. I just put the link in the chat for that vlog. But I lost my train of thought. It's probably the 7-2 loss. The 7-2 loss has me reeling. I just put the Islanders game on. So we need an Islanders loss and a Rangers loss. So it'd be nice, I guess, if the Islanders could just lose this one tonight. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Caps get upset in the first round. I think Montreal's capable. Lobsy, 12 days, 4 games, 1 point. I feel like we could get the clinch. I just don't know how to feel after losing 7-2. Is this what Sabres fans felt like when we beat them 7-2 in 2024? I don't know. KT, they don't deserve the day off. There needs to be punishment. What is this hesitation to be tough? I think it's a whole new world, KT. The modern day NHL players are not the old school players. It's a whole different world. Yeah, maybe the $1 million contracts are what you get up for. Oh, here's Woodson, right on cue. Woodson, if anyone is surprised by a letdown from this team, you need to open your eyes. I'm not surprised. It's just 13 times in a row we couldn't get a 4-game winning streak in over 26 months. 13 times. Yeah, that's basically every 2 months on average. They had a 3-game losing streak and couldn't make it a 4-game. Putz Monkey, I knew I was cooked when I bought these tickets and they won 3 against the Rags, never 4 in a row. Every game. New York, nobody. Does the Devils-Canes series go to 7? I mean, I would love to see it go to 7 with the Devils win. I mean, obviously, I'd like the Devils to win in less games, but, even the Devils winning the series in any fashion is asking for kind of a lot here. SST says Devils are playing Boston again. That's probably a loss, too. That one's in Boston next week. I think a week from today, actually, on the 15th. Woodson says Canes skull drag us in 5 games max. Wow. Woodson's super down, but in fairness, he's been down the whole season, so he's been consistent. Evan, it's a bad game. Boston, a lot of guys playing for jobs and really wanted this more. Hopefully Devils use this as a wake-up call and bounce back versus the Tuxedo Chickens on Friday night. Terrible. And Chief Keefe says, way to be positive, Woodson. Val says Keefe is not a championship caliber coach. He just isn't. I can't say that. What are you basing that on? Because we got killed tonight? Woodson, I witnessed the perfect teams in 2000 and 2003. We don't have one common strand of DNA compared to those teams. I wouldn't say not one common strand. Do I agree that the I guess, the genetic makeup, if you will, if we're getting to a DNA level, do I think the genetic makeup is very different from those teams and this team today? Absolutely. But I think that's partially kind of, I think, a reflection on how the game and the players that play the game have changed in those 20 some odd years. But I do think good teams do have more of that commonality. I'm trying to think, like, who would be a guy that I could see on either one of those teams? Forwards is tough. Yeah, it's just tough. Those were just very well-rounded teams with defined role players. Like, that really, like, there you don't have the role players, I don't think, to the extent nowadays that we had back then. Like, these were your shutdown guys, and Nico's like a shutdown guy, but we also need him to score and stuff as well. You had checking, you just had guys that could do everything, and we're all in on doing it. Pando and Madden, man, it's just But I do agree, Woodson. It's this team. When I look at it and you look at those teams, you're like, this team is not even remotely close, and that's a fair point. But they don't necessarily have to be to win a round. I don't think. Can we just win a round? Can we just win a round? Go Boro, thanks for the super. Ace, I spotted a yellow Brodeur jersey. What is it? Where did you spot that? Yellow? You got me beat. What is it? Oh, it may have been. Hold on. Was it this? Was it like yellow or gold? Team Canada wore a let me see. They wore a gold jersey. I think it was one of the World Cups. That's the only thing that really comes to mind. But where would you have? I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone wearing one ever in person. It's pretty obscure and it's super old at this point. Yeah, I think this is the 04 World Cup. Yeah, Marty was on this team. I'm gonna drop what is this, Hockey Canada. There's a picture of the jersey I'm referring to. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm curious now to know as well. You saw a yellow jersey. I'm very curious. Was that possibly it? And did you see it on television? Islanders still 4-4. Luke, I don't have it in me tonight. Let's hope they get it done Friday. Let's go Devils. Oh, I'm totally with you, Luke. I don't have it in me either. I'm running on fumes over here. Yo, Holmes, couple games back, I was sitting in section 5, and some dudes snuck a brick of fireball shots in. By the third period, they were toasted. That's amazing. You're talking about like the sleeve? Yeah, oh, man, that must have been. I mean, at that point, why don't you just bring in the bottle? I guess you're trying to be discreet. Lucas says, I 100% see the Caps winning the cup. I can also see them losing in the first round. I can't see them winning the cup. Evan hated this matchup, though. Had bad feeling about this game after Rangers game. Pens beat us bad last time out. Time for a revenge outing. Boston has showed some heart after struggles and wins. We better get them. I think it's their last home game of the season, I think, next Tuesday at Boston Garden. That should be their last game, I think. And I would love to, if they do a fan appreciation day, give them a nice loss in their last. Let me just double check. Is that their last game? April 15th? You think it probably could be. Yeah, it's their last game of the season. Yeah, let's kick their ass so their fans can remember the shit season. Send them out with a loss. Vic, it was incredible that Ovi scored literally right in front of you. Crazy. Yeah, it was the way it worked out. And it was in the second period, and that's the away team attack goal for only one period. And sure enough, he scored on that goal. And my buddy Pat said that too. In the first period, he's like, yeah, he's going to score it in the second period on the net in front of us. And it really happened. Stickfix says, I don't know if someone did the math, but the chance of getting tails 13 times in a row is someone actually did do it. Is this combinations or permutations? I forget. This is where I started to suck at math. I was a superstar at kid math, like young low level math. Once we started getting into, combinations, permutations, and shit like that, I was like, oh boy. But 13 times in a row is 1 in a 8,192 chance, or 0.00012% chance. Wow. And we just did that. It's amazing. Evan says, Canes, I would love their losing streak to continue and they go in ice cold. If we're ever going to get them, this could be the year. But it's going to be relying on solid goaltending, which is somewhat questionable, maybe. I don't know. I think Markey's going to be fine. Stick figs, our luck is that bad, huh? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Those are pretty sorry numbers. Devil Heaven says, Keefe is the best coach this organization building development since DeBoer. Potentially. Putz Monkey, is my hate for Sprong justified, or does an AHLer have no business sniffing an NHL roster? I think Sprong's looked decent in some of the games. Like, he's kind of in the mix and kind of all over the place, but like, it's not translating to anything. I think he could be a decent player, but it's like, you know, is he going to be a game breaker ever? No. But when you look at, you know, how he's been playing, in my opinion, in the last few days, would you rather see Bastian or Lazar than him? I can't say that I would. He's at least been kind of, like I said, in the mix. You know, he's creating somewhat, shot attempts, maybe probably at least a couple shots on net. So I'm not going to hate on him, but, you know, that's just more of an indictment on what our bottom six consisted of all season long, that we literally traded for a guy that cleared waivers in either December or January. Clearing waivers meaning his team waived him and no one in the entire league wanted him for free, just other than the money, just to you know, pay him. No one wanted him. So there's something to be said there as well. Yeah, I thought Sprong looked okay, but again, when are we going to see production? Putz said, I swear every time Sprong was on the ice, there was a goal against. Let's see. He had the assist tonight, and he was a -1. Casey played 17 minutes and 36 seconds. And was only out there for that goal that deflected off his stick. That was a super unfortunate break for him. I'm sure he's going to be pretty, you know, pissed about it. Steven, see any good movies lately? Ace. I'm always looking for movie recommendations myself. I'm trying to think, did I watch anything good recently? None that come to mind. Oh no, I did finally get around to watching Den of Thieves. One of my buddies has been telling me to watch it forever. I thought Den of Thieves was pretty good, and then I watched Den of Thieves 2, starring Ice Cube Jr. I forget his real name, but it's Ice Cube's kid who looks exactly like him. It's kind of freaky, actually. I think those are the last two that I watched. Wolf Rockin', what's going on? I'm done with this team ace. I'm rooting for my favorite player, Brady Tkachuk, and the Ottawa Senators. If the Devils get in the postseason, they'll be swept in the first series. Markey sucks. Come on, man. Markey had 3 good games in a row. Let's hope he bounces back. Getting swept would be awful. I hope that doesn't happen. I still have faith. And you know, Brady's one of my favorite non-Devil in the league. Joe Mama said, I should have put money on this game. Would have been easy money. Yeah, it would have been. It was pretty much a guaranteed loss. 13 times in a row now for the 4-game winning streak. Kevin Kirk, Akira Schmidt's a net for Vegas versus Colorado. He's 1-0-0 on the season. Who is in for Colorado? It's the Wedgwood in net for the Wedge is in net for the Avs. David Chime said he's already skating in practice, and our announcer said it's likely once during a game. You guys talking about Dougie. Evan said we still have one more shot at the elusive 4 A's. Beat Pens and rival Isles get revenge on Boston. Hopefully, remember this one tonight, and then let's focus versus Detroit game. Want one more shot. I can't. I mean, that would be great, right? To end the season on one. At this point, I don't even care. To end the season on one would be great, but I just don't want to see any more stinkers like we saw tonight. That was just gutting. Terrible. Yo, Holmes said Keefe was just quoted as saying that Sprong has been one of the best bottom scorers in the league the last few years. Well, he's got to start doing it here. And again, there's a reason why the entire league passed on him. Time will tell. Time will tell. Becoming Led Zeppelin. I don't know if I heard that. Becoming Led Zeppelin. What is that? What platform is that on? I hate the new. I hate the new Netflix interface is absolute trash. By the way, has anyone else like what the hell is this? They changed it maybe a few weeks ago. Maybe weeks are flying by. Maybe it was a month ago, but they changed the interface and it's absolutely tragic. And it says, Ace, on topic of movies, I recommend Flow. Outstanding movie. Animated, but very well done on HBO Max. Let's see. There's no way I could watch this. Is this the cat? Flow? I don't know. This might be a stretch. An animated cat movie? Maybe I'll watch it with my nephews. Ace, what is your best SNL character? Oh, man. Wow. There's so many. I mean, best SNL character? Shit. I'd have to think about that. I like the stupid Night at the Roxbury guys, but I don't know that would be my favorite. Maybe a Farley character. There's a lot over the years. I'd have to think about that one. I'm rewatching Sopranos. I've been meaning to do that for quite some time, and this is where we just deviate, and no one wants to talk about how bad this game was. We just start talking about random shit, which is fine with me. I'm sure we'll mix some Devils in there intermittently in the comments here. I've been meaning to go back and rewatch Sopranos forever. I'm hoping to start it soon. After the season, it might be an off-season project. Off them Devils. Ace, have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny? Of course I've seen My Cousin Vinny. Classic. Man. Joe Pesci and the Karate Kid. Doesn't get much better. Amagi, first game I've ever left early. The crowd was electric after those goals. Then the Devils decided to shit the bed against a team with a recent 10-game losing streak. No idea how to even explain this BS. The 4-game curse, man. The 4-game winning streak curse. Amagi said, Pasta paid for my ice cream because I cashed out my parlay since I didn't believe in the Devils. Oh, man. Yeah, Blackwood versus Schmid. Jason, no, this team is lucky the Metro sucks. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in a playoff spot. We just fact check that. We wouldn't be so easily, but let me just take a look. How lucky are we? I mean, we're still technically we're 7th in the Eastern Conference with 89 points. Montreal one below us in the 8th spot with 87. Same amount of games played. We would still probably make it, but yeah, it's pretty brutal. John Face said the crowd was dead and the building looked empty. John Face said it wasn't a stinker, Ace. That was an assassination. It was a pretty dominant win for the Bruins. It was, but I think it was one of those games where it's like nothing went our way, and hopefully we never see it again. But it is brutal. Jared, hey, Ace, I debated coming to the chat tonight after that loss. Nothing else to say, but we sucked tonight. Other than that little burst in the second, there wasn't much positive to take out of this game. Completely agree. I mean, what could you say was positive? It was a beatdown. Prezify, thank you for the super. Have you watched Reacher yet? So good. I have not watched Reacher. I've heard of it from somebody. Let me see. What is that on? Amazon Prime. Oh, man. 3 seasons. And there's... It looks like 8 episodes per season. Oof. How long are these damn things? 24. Reacher, huh? Okay, I might have to give that a try. Might have to try out the Reacher. Yeah, Farley SNL is crazy. The Chippendales thing, always hilarious. Yeah, oh yeah. Wayne's World, oh my god. Oh my god, there's so many. Yeah, so many great. It'd be hard to pick. Wayne's World would be up there for me too. Terrible game. My Blue Heaven, Steve Martin. "22 Jump Street." Is that a Jonah Hill movie? Off them Devils. Anyone feel like breaking some stuff? What do you guys want to break? What are you trying to break? I wish I had some stuff to break. I don't have anything nearby to break. I would love to. I think maybe I got to look for one of the when they do like the charity events where it's like they buy like a piece of shit car and they're like, it's like $10 for 5 swings with a sledgehammer. But I have to be the first person in the line. I think that's always a coveted spot, to be the first people to smash up the shitty car with the sledgehammer, because I want to stand on a hood. This definitely means I have some sort of issues or problems, but I think a lot of you would be right there with me. I want to stand on the hood of one of those clunkers and with the sledgehammer two-handed over my head and just to jump with all of my might and just smash the windshield. That must feel incredible. Has anyone ever done one of those things? I've never been to one, but I've seen them on TV and they've always looked like a great time, especially in times like this. Chief Keefe says everyone is saving money for the playoffs. Yeah, I do think that in a situation like we are now, a lot of people are, again, listen, but this is all because, they want to make the tickets so damn expensive. Like, if the tickets weren't so expensive, people wouldn't have to be so choosy. Like back in the day, if I didn't have something to do, I'd go to all the, I was getting tickets for $20, $30. And yeah, no, nowadays, if you're lucky on some nights, you could get tickets for that. I did tell you guys in my older age, I have become a little bougie and do enjoy sitting like in the lower level. But, aside from the money, it's also a time investment. Like people have shit to do. I have shit to do, driving to Newark and the whole rigmarole and going to the game, for me, it's roughly probably at minimum 5.5, 6 hours of your life from the time you leave to there, the game, to come back. It's a good 5 or 6 hours and your hard-earned money. And because the tickets are so expensive, I do agree with you, Chief Keefe, that a lot of people towards the end of the season, they're like, well, what am I paying to go for this? Where the playoffs start in a couple of weeks, I'll spend my money on that. Although the playoff tickets are going to be way more. I'm so curious to see what they roll out at this season. I think it's going to be a pricey one again. NHL playoffs is no longer cheap. It's just crazy how tickets have. I talk about this all the time, but it's just wild. I feel bad for younger people. Give me stuff to break. Off them Devils. What do you got? I want to break some stuff. How was Casey? Is he coming out of the lineup? If he does come out of the lineup, I don't think it was because he had this terrible game or anything. It could be just Keefe trying to give other guys a look. He had an unfortunate play tonight where he tried to get a stick on a shot and it ended up deflecting off of his stick and passed Markstrom for a goal, but I don't think he played terrible. I'm a Casey fan, so I'm always rooting for the kid to do well. Will be interesting to see, especially on that topic, for the Friday game, if Sheldon Keefe swaps any players out in the bottom six, if we see a Bastion and Lazar or a Foot or any sort of changes. I'm very curious to see. Joe Kate, hit the like for Ace. Thanks. Hit the like. John Fay, I'm mostly confused on why they put Allen after the 7th goal and not the 4th. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering that. Again, the only thing I could say is you all, and I've talked about this. It's one of the many things I like about him a lot is that Jacob Markstrom wants to play every game. And I told the story, but I'll retell it because, yeah, I understand not everyone watches everything. Marky is a fiery ass dude. And I knew he was to some extent from things I've seen over the years, but it really, the first thing that kind of cemented it for me was, let me put a link. I hate talking about videos and then not dropping the link. This was not my video, but you saw a little bit of his kind of temperament and demeanor, Marky. In the summer, he did a let me find it. He did an interview with Spit and Chicklets, and a lot of his personality and kind of the way he is came out. If you haven't watched it, at some point watch it. I just dropped the link in the chat. But that was kind of when I'm like, oh my God, I liked Marky a lot before then. And you all know when the rumors first came up last year, I was excited about it. And then we finally got him. I was jacked up in the offseason. But then he came out with this interview, I think right before training camp. And I was like, let's go. It got me more fired up for Marky. And subsequently, a few months back at a Devils event at the Sweep the Deck, which was a pretty cool event. Well, now I'm just dropping links for everything. I don't have anything with him in there per se. But I talked to Marky for a good, real 5-minute conversation. And he 100% wants to play every game. He is super fired up. He's a wily vet. I love Marky. One of my favorite players on the team. I've talked about this time and time again. I just dropped a link in the chat for the Sweep the Deck video. One of the best Devils events they do. But I think I kind of went all over the place here. But to John's point, I think that Marky really takes it hard, I think, if you pull him. And so looking at the whole picture of where Keefe has already put his cards on the table, essentially, and have said that he wants Marky to be the guy in the playoffs, I think yanking him earlier than he did, he thought may have been more collateral damage than just the game itself. And I also think, if he was pressed about it, Keefe would say, even after 4 that like the team was playing like shit and he didn't think we would come back anyway. So now you're pulling Markey, kind of giving him that kind of gut punch, and you have no chance of winning the game and you're going to lose anyway. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I think it's mostly because, you know, Markey is a fiery dude and he wanted to give him a chance to battle through it and try to make a game of it. And unfortunately that didn't happen. And it was a terrible outing all around. Prezify, thank you, sir. As soon as you watch the first episode, you're hooked. So you're talking about Reacher still. I do like, I mean, I'll probably like it. Reacher, what platform is that on? I go to the apps. There's 5 million friggin' apps. It's crazy. Shit just can't be easy. Steve Martin, another OG legend. Daniel Walker says, second season of Reacher sucked. First and third are awesome. Natural Canopy, what's going on? I'm back. The vibes were high with me here. Now, this is a very low night. We're all just feeling some type of way. It was a terrible outing for the boys. Oh, wait, this thing just came out. I wanted to see what is the Islanders? Are they still 4-4? Oh, boy, Islanders up 6-4. What the hell happened? Man, poor Steven Stamkos. What a shit season. That's what you get, my man. You chase the money. You chase the money and you're done. There are rage rooms. Aid took me one time. Ritter Engine still talking about Rogalski. I mean, how are you going to blame Rogalski for that? Colin, this team was never going to compete for a cup after Jack and Dougie got hurt. I'm still not going to say that. Is that conventional wisdom? Sure it is, Colin. But teams can get hot at the right time. And I do think Dougie will be back for the playoffs. And so, yes, Jack is a massive loss. But I still believe that once the playoffs happen, anything could happen now. You know, do I think this team has earned my delusional optimism? Probably not. But that's part of being a fan. I mean, if I wasn't a fan, I'd be like, they're going to get smacked by Carolina, probably. But I have to be, you know, optimistic to some extent. But man, I just want to beat the Canes. If we somehow beat the Canes, I really believe it could spark like a nice run. I'm sticking with my original preseason prediction, Eastern Conference Finals. And won't you guys be happy if that happens? Amaki, my seats for tonight were real nice for $15 each. Prices were real low tonight, but yeah, time is money as well, for sure. It's a whole investment to go there. And Maria D, what's going on? Speaking of charity, that's the only way I could describe this game, charity. Oof. Sherry, once you sit in Section 8, it's hard to sit anywhere else. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when I was younger, I pretty much sat all over the place. Like, I would sit in really good seats. I was against the glass. I was up in the corners and pretty much everywhere and enjoyed it. But for some reason, as I got older, for whatever reason, it's like, no, I just want the premium now. But I'll still enjoy a game in higher up seats if it needs to be. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't go or anything. I would just prefer to sit in good seats. It's just, it is what it is. Game Time has them up already. Yeah, but there wasn't a public release. That's all like speculation stuff. That's not like primary sale. I'm curious what the quote-unquote face value is, even though it's this dynamic pricing crap. If you guys follow the ticket prices, that it really, means nothing. It's like they change up and down, so it's not face value like it was back in the day, like where that was the price and it didn't change. Now they got algorithms, they got all kinds of shit where, if people aren't buying them, they'll drop the price. Then once people buy a certain amount, then they up the price. It's like a constant game against consumers. Kevin, good night, Ace. My Devils family, smash the like for Ace if you haven't. Let's go Devils. Thanks, Kevin. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Jason, there needs to be a lot of changes before there's a serious contender. I don't know how they're going to handle this offseason. I think you're going to see a couple bottom 6 guys, and that's pretty much going to be it. Sherry, my son Shoots got 4 playoff tickets for $175 each. That's interesting. What section were they in, Sherry? I'm curious. What do I think first round tickets go for? I think the upper levels are going to be right around maybe 200. Face value. I don't think they could really start below 200. Maybe a little bit below. Maybe like 175. on the cheapest, and I think it'll probably go for like 175, and then the lower levels will probably all be like, probably 400 plus, maybe 375 and up for the face value. But then, as you all know, with the markets, it all just bounces around, and so it's very interesting. SJ, losing Jack ruin any chances unless Markey goes Hercules in the playoffs, which can happen. Check the Game Time app. They are up already. Yeah, but that's not face value. So these are either season ticket holders or brokers. All right, so I'm loading up Game Time. Oh, shit. They might have to come out much lower. This is interesting. But this is before the fees and shit. There's some showing at $73 before fees. So the upper corners must have been cheap for season ticket holders. Now, there's a very good chance that the face values will be higher than this because the season ticket holders are getting some sort of discount. I don't expect to see, and let's see, 214 is $96 before fees. They might have to be realistic here. That's very interesting. I was expecting them to see a good chunk more expensive. Islanders lead. Palms is a scumbag. Yeah, it's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, I saw Palmer the other day. I'm going to have to jack a truckload of whey protein for Jack when he starts strength training this offseason. I do find it funny that they have like home game 4 listed for each playoff round. It's like the Devils can't have a 4th home game. They're never going to have home ice. So to sell 4-game packages. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Natural Canopy. I just did a couple bottle shots. Like, I'm just miserable, but I'll just. I'm just deflated and just a lot of things going through my mind about this game. Hopefully that they look much better on Friday, but it is disturbing. It's completely disturbing. Reacher is free on Amazon Prime Video. Okay. Natural Canopy, take it easy, Snow. Once playoffs roll around, anything can happen. No pressure on us. Well, we're going to see. Did I see the stat that power play has been more effective without Jack? No, I haven't. I'm not completely shocked, but I'm imagining the percentages were probably pretty similar. But yeah, not focusing on the one guy during a power play makes sense. And also, part of that is now that Timo's on the power play. Timo's lethal. Lethal. Should have been on power play 1 all year on the right side. Game escape. This team will be lucky to win 1 game in the first round. Oh, come on. Zach, I want to win around just because Don LaGreca, former Devs fan with a tattoo for the 03 Cup, who is now a Rags fan, said we'd be one and done. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How did he go from a Devils fan with a Cup tattoo to a Rags fan? I'd love to know the story behind that if you know. That's crazy. Woodson said, give me a team full of players on the last year of their contract. It's an automatic Cup. Sometimes that is the unfortunately for all human beings, not just athletes, the best motivator is money, cash money. And you'll see tons of times where guys are in contract years, they look like Superman. And then you're like, they get money and what the hell happened? I think Jeremy Swayman's kind of a case of that. He got paid by the Bruins and he's having an awful year. Goals against above 3, a save percentage under 900. I mean, it doesn't get much uglier for a guy getting paid that way. But here we are. 175 upper level. Okay. Hamagi says Tick Pick has first playoff game at 99 plus. So maybe they're more realistic than I thought. They got the last playoff appearance, because it was the Rangers, the tickets were jacked to the moon. And then they kind of just went from there to the second round against the Canes. And I want to say they were like similar in price to the first round against the Rangers. But there is, from what I've seen from some of the price levels, there is a fairly aggressive price jump from round to round. I don't want to chug a nooner right now. Win or lose. Yo, how old are you, off them Devils? How old are you? You may have told me before, but I forget, bro. My memory's shot. Shotgun a moon, man. I haven't shotgun. I used to, back in the day, me and some of my boys would shotgun or funnel the original recipe for Loco. Now, I don't know if you guys are old enough to even know what the original recipe for Loco was like, but let me tell you something. The original For Loco recipe was something else. This is going back, like, I'm trying to think, what year was this? It's probably like 2000. I was young, man. Maybe like 2000. It was like 2000. Did I have them at the playoffs when I was tailgating for the playoffs in 12? It may have been over by then. Somewhere around 11 or 12 was like, I had a couple summers of the original recipe Loco. And wow. Let me tell you, wow. What? Nashville tied it? Shit. Could I change this from out here? Let me see. They were down 2. I saw they were on the power play. Stamkos looked like he was going to cry. It's hard for me to get my remote where it needs to be for the projector here. Play, you shit. Man. Let me try it back on the phone. Oh, they're going to overtime. You guys are going to ruin it for me. 39 seconds left. Wow. Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to. Let's chug a noon. Chug a noon in real life before a game on Championship Plaza, before a playoff game. Shit. Dude, Stammer. See, that was classic Stammer. I wanted Stamkos so bad. I can't believe he went for the money. Stammer on this team would be phenomenal still. Not at the price he got paid. Oh, he got a job as the Rangers play-by-play guy. Okay. Robert, an Atlantic City guy in West PA. I told my wife to get Devils tickets when they came to Pittsburgh. She got tickets, but in Newark. I roll into town on Friday. Hope it ends well. Hopefully you see them clinch. Well, I would like to see us clinch before then, if I'm being honest. I just want it over with. But it is pretty cheesy to clinch from other teams losing versus winning on your own. $26. Oh, man. Enjoy your youth, man. It goes quick. I remember when I was 26 like it was yesterday, and then you blink your eyes and you're damn near 40, complaining about the Devils on a YouTube channel on a, what day is today? Monday? On a Monday night. I'm watching this game, and I'm not trying not to look at the chat because you people are You guys are going to be ahead of me and ruin it. Original Four Loko was diabolical. It was crazy. Four Loko, for those who don't know, was like a super caffeinated alcoholic drink that had like crazy flavors. They're like, sorry, Stammer, not happening. Crazy flavors, and it would get you wild and crazy. Funneling Four Lokos it's probably a good way to go to prison, honestly. I'm sure a lot of people ended up in prison off the Loco. You're 26 too. Must be nice. Yeah, of course. Beer balls with taps. Oh, Mad Dog? Oh, boy. Now you're really... Breakaway for Marchessault. Misses the net. Oh, my God. You guys are probably ahead of me. The Fubo feed is slow as shit. Marchessault just blew a... Someone's stick just broke. Oh, my God. Islanders hit the post. Who was that? This is back and forth pond hockey and OT here. Yamagi, Ace was shotgunning stuff during the Prohibition. Oh, there it is. Islanders blew it. Painful loss. That's a painful loss. Wow. Zachary says Four Lokos were MD 2020 on steroids, in my opinion. Yo, Loco was wild. It was wild. And then true story, when I found out they were changing the recipe, I literally drove to pretty much every liquor store within like, I don't know, like 15 minutes of me that had it. I was calling places, and I went there and I was just buying up all the Loco. So me and my brother had like a pallet. We had like a pallet of Four Loko when they announced it was changing, because I was like, I can't live with that Loco. That was my go-to. That was my go-to at the time. It was my go-to beverage. And so when I found out they were changing it, I bought up the remaining supply from everywhere. My car was a lowrider. I had my SUV in cargo mode. I had the seats folded down, and the Locos were just basically like stacked to the roof all the way. I remember thinking, like, if I get pulled over, the cops are going to think I'm like smuggling drugs in Four Loko cans, because I had an obscene amount. My car was probably low. Chico, I'm late, but we saw the limits of this roster tonight when Markey doesn't have it and he sure is human. Fitz overcorrected into Unga Bunga. What are the Unga Bunga cavemen, bro? Come on. Injuries piled up and he did nothing to fix it. That I agree with, but Nason and Cotter aren't Unga Bunga cavemen. That's a terrible narrative. All right, that was close. Tuesday. All right, Tuesday. On a Tuesday night. Zachary says, hey, sounds like you're living your dream talking Devils hockey on YouTube in your 40s. Oh, yeah, totally. Living the dream, guys. Living the absolute dream. Sitting here talking about the Devils and you know, I don't know. I just can't believe this is where we are here. What a terrible night. Yeah, everyone's talking about Isles lose, Preds win, Islanders. I think now we need, I think we need the Islanders to beat the Rangers, and then we clinch, which is sad. But wow. Ace, I aspire to be like you. That's something often Devils and I would do. Yeah, I was probably about your age now. Yeah, I was. Math, yeah, that makes sense. I was about 26 years old. That was like the peak of Four Loko. The news broke that the recipe was changing. And it's crazy. My mother's a love my mother to pieces, but she's a complete like anxiety worrier person. And she needs this. The internet was the worst thing that ever happened to my mother, and even worse on the phone, because she'd send me links about, don't send me links about this is bad for you. This causes cancer. Don't do. And every day I'd be getting a new thing about something that was debilitating to my life and going to ultimately kill me. So, during the Four Loko craze, there was like kids like blacking out and like dying at colleges. Like not a ton, but there was enough that like made news. And so every time someone croaked off the Loco, my mother knew I was a Loco super fan. So she'd be sending me the links, and I would always tell her like, "Oh, Ma, those kids, normal people don't die from it. Those kids just couldn't hang. They couldn't tolerate their Loco." And she gets so pissed. So then obviously when she found out I had pallets of it, she was more than concerned. Me and my brother thought it was the funniest thing on the planet. Nason should not be on a first line. I mean, this is just, it's intermittent dooming and just nonsense. David, popularizing the term booze face. Will you ever be able to get Fitz on as a guest? I can't imagine that I would. I will have lots of guests over the time, but I can't imagine he would be one of them. But I wasn't the booze face originator. That was Luke, I believe. I believe Luke is the one who came up with booze face. Chico, Nason is a caveman on the first line, but that's not his fault, to be fair, just too high up in the lineup. Right, but that's not a bad acquisition by Fitz. He's now being forced into a role larger than he should be due to the holes throughout the lineup. But that doesn't make Nason a bad get. Yeah, it's not his fault, the lack of depth. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's not that's not on Nason, and it's not necessarily an indictment on Fitz that Nason was not a good pickup. It's just that Nason was not meant to be a top 6 guy when we got him, and I believe I predicted in the summer that because of the lineup we were going with into the season, that I predicted he would see some time in the top 6. That's definitely on video from your boy, sometime in the summer. Chico, Brendan Dillon, I don't like, not at $4 million a year. I think he does add positives, but I think him specifically was not a great ad. I'm a huge Dillon guy, so I understand if you're just looking at the pure data and the analytics and all the stuff, but I'm an old school guy, and Dilly's a throwback, and I think what he brings to the group is well worth the money, but I understand where you're coming from with the complaint. My Bop 36 Pasta is unstoppable at the moment. Ovi overshadowing his performance. Yeah, Pasternak's a beast. Complete beast. Would love a sniper like that for Jack, or even a poor man's version. Stick Figs with a wild night across the NHL full of comebacks, upsets, and stinkers. SST, we still haven't had 5K subs giveaway. I guess it's been postponed until 10. No, I'm going to... there's just so much logistics to deal with that I haven't done. I'm hoping to set it up before the playoffs. So I guess after the last game and before the playoffs, there'll probably be a few days in between. So I think now I'm going to do it as like a playoff kickoff kind of thing. But the giveaways are going to happen. I've been stockpiling some items. Celluloid therapy, that was genuinely embarrassing. I guess they didn't want to break the 3-game winning streak they have going. 13 times in a row. 13 times in a row, somehow they have failed to win a 4th consecutive game. It's crazy. 1 in 8,192, I believe. Psychotic. Wait, where's that stat? Stick Figs. What was that? What was that percentage? Do you have that percentage handy, Stick Figs? Chico Cotter was a great ad. He's savage, holds into something useful. Nason used correctly is a good ad. Kova was a buried gem, but I think $5 million for a system D-man is kind of nuts. It's $4 million per. 4 million times 5 years. No, my biggest indictments on Fitz is not making any moves, during the season. Jay Snow, you think Nason is first line player ace? No, nobody thinks that. Luke passed that hammer 30 minutes ago. Diego, Devils 0-13 following a 3-game winning streak. Crazy, yeah. What's that percentage? Maybe we need Booze Face t-shirts. Oh, boy. My bop, Nason has a career high in points. Yeah, he got that a long time ago. Largely in part to his hot start. What a start he had. Chico, don't get me wrong. Dylan's willingness and eagerness to stand up for teammates is very important. That kind of thing bonds a team strongly. And if he was at $2 million per, I'd love him. Yeah. He just makes too much. All right. I mean, I could live with that criticism. I still love Dilly. Mike, it's funny how once the Devils had a bad game, they say the team sucks and blame certain players for no reason. Like, seriously, it's really annoying. Our fans are annoying, Mike. Welcome to the fan base, my man. Welcome to the fan base. The Devils should use high flips to the neutral zone more often. That's interesting. That is interesting. I'm not mad at that. They just need to get pucks. I mean, that turnover that led to I don't even remember what goal it was now. It was either the 4th or 5th. I think it was the 4th. Yeah, it was the late goal in the second period. There was a horrible turnover that should have never happened. Somebody threw the puck to the middle. I think they said it was Palat. Just fed it to the middle, and it was just terrible. What a night, huh, guys? What a night. Damn, Canucks were down 5-2 against Dallas and erased the 3-goal deficit with 1 minute left and 1 in OT. First team in history to do that. Wow. Was Quinn Hughes all over that? Was he a big part of that? Rich Reynolds had an unhealthy relationship with Jägermeister sophomore year of college, along with MD 2020 and Vladimir Vodka at $10 a handle. Ooh, the plastic handles. Going to binge drinking myself down memory lane after this loss. I had a huge Jaeger run too, Rich. I had a couple different phases in college. I think the Four Loko for me was definitely after college. Yeah, that came out after I was done in college, but I had a huge, probably maybe even like the middle portion of college. I'm trying to think. Probably for a couple of years, it was in the mix of the Jaeger bombs with the Red Bull. I always had Red Bulls in my fridge and Jaeger in the freezer. And one time, this is a true story. I swear on everything, Rich. This is a true story. This is the type of stupid shit we would do. One of my buddies has Crohn's disease. I don't know that I lived with in college. I don't know if you guys know about Crohn's disease. I don't fully know how to explain it, but I know it's like an intestinal disease where he had to take medication and like a lot of different things would like mess his stomach up. And, he'd have to run in the bathroom or whatever. So this was during our Jaeger phase. I don't remember what we were doing. We may have been hosting a party at our house. We had a ton of parties at our house in college. But we took a deeply frozen 750 of Jaeger, and for whatever reason, we put on like the TV guide channel with the little timer with the seconds, and we were like, how quick can we Jaeger bomb? I had all the cups set up with all the Red Bulls and shit on a little table. How quick can we Jaeger bomb this entire bottle down? And this is with the kid with Crohn's disease. We took it out. We waited. We uncorked, took the top off, unscrewed the top, and waited till it hit like a round minute, and immediately just started Jaeger bombing it. The 750. I think we drank the entire bottle in under 4 minutes. Great night. Great night. And I think my buddy was like in bed for a couple of days after that from the excessive Jaeger bombing. But I'll always do a Jaeger bomb if someone asks. Very nostalgic shot for me. The plastic handle vodkas, I can't do it. That stuff will take paint off of cars. Canopy, imagine we went out and finally get a 4-game win streak going. I can't believe it. I can't see it happening. In the final 4 games of the season, come on. That would be ridiculous. I would love to see it, but I don't think so. Jay Snow, our defense makes a ton of turnovers in the D zone. Carolina's a bad matchup for us. Rather play the Caps. Oh, I'd rather play the Caps too. But if there was ever a year to get retribution on, the Canes, this is going to be one of their down years, I think. Even though their down year is still a very good team, but I think we would have a fighting chance of potentially shocking the world if we could get strong goaltending. Now, that's a big if, especially after a night like tonight, but I'm not nearly as negative as some of you are. I don't think Marky's done. I just think it was a horrible night for the whole team. Chico, I knew it was going to be a bad day for the Devils, and the first thing I saw was that they're going to wait until next season to bring in Gritsuk. Is that confirmed now? I keep seeing all kinds of things. I don't know if that's just like more hearsay or if his KHL team told us that they weren't going to let him come here. Like, what is the real deal? M. Sharp, the one time I'm glad the game was blacked out for me on ESPN. Psh. Jay Snow, I did think they were going to win. I really did. Coming off the Rangers win, I really thought they were finally going to get their monkey off the back, get the 4 games in a row, won, and clinch the playoffs. I really did think so. Chico, I thought they were going to win tonight. I wonder if the Devils thought they were going to win tonight too, because they played like the only thing on their minds was that Bruins lost 10 in a row. Brutal. Yo, Jason, no, you're crazy. Talking about SST. Oh, man, you guys are nuts. Cisco, the Devils will make the playoffs and hopefully advance to the finals. One thing's certain, they won't sweep any series to advance to a finals. Oh, I'm not going to complain about that. Just win some rounds. Just win some rounds. Evan, Devils were flat out in all aspects. Didn't handle this the right way. Now we do what we do from here is what matters, man. Rich, Jaeger bombs are the best. You remember that My New Haircut skit? Yeah, of course. Jaeger bombs. All right, that's it, guys. I'm done. Devils with an absolute stinker. I'm depressed, but in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't mean much. We should be a playoff team still, and that's it. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. I'm depressed, but hopefully Friday they get a big win, and that's it. This is an absolute stinker. There's nothing to take away from this. Appreciate you all for coming out. I'm disgusted, but hopefully we win. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. It's been fun, but this has been miserable. What a miserable night. Got to come back, beat the Penguins. Well, I guess now we clinch with a Rangers. Is it a Rangers loss now? I can't even keep track. It's so sad backing into the playoffs. But that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.